In today's video, I'm going to give you an overview of all of the classes in the upcoming Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is releasing on March 25th of this year for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to talk about multiclassing, and you're definitely going to want to stick around for that. As always, chapter markers will be below. Let's jump right in. But first, a quick introduction to the game for those of you who are not familiar. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a game where you'll be shooting, slashing, and casting your way through a chaotic fantasy world brought to life by your dungeon master, Tiny Tina.
Before you rise the mighty walls of Greathoof, but you're not the only new arrival. A massive skeleton army is sieging the city! Catapults! Scallymans! Scally ships! There's bombs raining down!
Tiny Tina will be your disorderly guide through a tabletop realm where you'll be exploring majestic cities, mushroom forests, foreboding fortresses, and more. This game can be played solo, but it's much more fun co-op with a party of up to 4, and basically the point of the game is to defeat evil, level up your personalized character, and of course gather as much loot as you can along the way. It's a looter shooter at its core. As many of you may have noticed, this game is a spin-off of the Borderlands series and a successor to the Borderlands 2 DLC, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragonkeep. Lastly, each class in this game gets a class feat, which is an always active passive effect, 2 action skills, which generally have short cooldowns, and a class-specific skill tree that you'll be spending skill points in. Alright, let's jump on into the classes. The first class I want to talk about is the Stabbomancer, which is basically a gun-shooting arcane trickster rogue. Stabbomancers are sneaky, critical hit-focused assassins who summon magic whirling blades into the battlefield and disappear into the shadows at will. With the Stabbomancer, you can take out your foes up close with a dagger, use a well-aimed bullet from afar, or perhaps just blast off an ethereal psychic ghost sword.
Ethereal psychic ghost sword?
Stabbomancers are all about exploiting foes' weaknesses and then capitalizing on those opportunities. In this video demonstration, we also got to see a Stabbomancer going invisible, and then stealthily striking his foe with some sort of freeze attack, which ultimately leads to the enemy being shattered into pieces. Be warned though, like many rogue classes in other games, this can be a fragile class. It's vital to use your superior speed to evade damage and fire your guns while sprinting. Next up is the Sporewarden Class. Sporewardens are masters of nature who summon tornadoes and launch volleys of arcane arrows into enemy lines alongside their toxin-spewing mushroom companion. Pretty cool. Lore-wise, the Sporewarden is deeply in tune with the natural world and basically is a guardian of the Wonderland's magical wilderness. This class specializes in annihilating their foes from afar, as they have mastery of not only conventional firearms, but also a mystical bow that can unleash a barrage of arcane arrows. As you can see, those arrows absolutely disintegrate their target. We also got to see a quick clip of a spell called Blizzard, which creates 3 frost cyclones that seek out enemies.
Because they're frost you know.
The Sporewarden is a gun and companion specialist that can significantly boost the abilities of their companion and allies while laying down heavy firepower and slowing enemies with tornadoes. Now on to the closest class to a wizard that you're going to get, the Spellshot. Spellshots are gun-toting wizards who can unleash a constant barrage of spells and bullets. They can also transform their enemies into harmless livestock with the snap of a finger. Spellshots train rigorously to make their guns an extension of their own magical will. They weave gun and grimoire together to enhance their spells and imbue their weapons. In this video, we can see the Spellshot using one hand to cast a spell, while the other hand has the gun at its ready. And in this clip, the Spellshot's gun is holstered as both of this character's hands are busy casting their own spells, one ice-based and the other fire-based. This class can seamlessly cycle between different methods of dealing damage by using their Spellweave ability to not only increase spell damage, but also fire rate. So if you love powerful magic combined with guns, this might be the class for you. Now on to the Clawbringer Class. Clawbringers are faithful warriors who bring down thunder and flames upon their enemies with a spectral hammer alongside their fire-breathing wyvern companion. Playing this class makes you part of an order of warriors who seek to bring heroism to the Wonderlands through fire and thunder. This class has a dragon aura, which empowers their whole party with additional fire damage, a nice support-based feature. They can also throw their spectral hammer to deal sizzling lightning damage, or slam it down to create a massive fire nova, which in this video clip is called the Cleansing Flame. Your Wyvern Companion will also fly at your side and breathe fire upon your enemies, and also slash them with razor-sharp claws. Pretty cool class, and it seems to offer a nice mix between magical melee abilities, animal companionship, and of course gunplay. 2 more classes to go, and first up is the Brr-zerker class, specialist of melee and frost damage. Berzerkers are tenacious, frost-infused bruisers who complement their firepower with an onslaught of brutal up-close and personal melee attacks. This class is kinda similar to what you would expect from a barbarian-type class, as they prefer to do their fighting up close and personal, and will almost always be on the front lines dealing a chilly death to all in their path. We got to see a clip of their Feral Surge ability.
See something else? Smash that!
Seems to be a great distance closer with AoE potential, and also a clip of their Dreadwind AoE Frost spin attack. Don't worry, this class can also become enraged via their action skills, and they even have the ability to leech life from fallen foes using a dash of occult magic. If you love being on the front lines and swinging big-ass weapons, this is probably the class for you. And last, but certainly not least, is the Graveborn Class, and this class is a master of kill skills, spells, and dark magic. Graveborns are death-touched acolytes who sacrifice health to unleash devastating dark magic attacks and become the phantasmal Reaper of Bones. As a Graveborn, you'll also be accompanied by your Manic Demi-Lich companion. This class draws strength from the pain and passing of others, that's kinda sad, and they grow in power as they send the souls of their enemies screaming into the void. We got to see the Reaper of Bones ability, which gives you a bonus to lifesteal and magic damage as your health continuously drains. It's a high-risk, high-reward type of class. And we also got to see Dire Sacrifice, which is an AoE ability that sacrifices 20% of current health to deal dark magic damage to all nearby enemies. In terms of your Demi-Lich companion, any spell cast by the Graveborn will cause the Demi-Lich to cast a unique spell of their own, as well as triggering kill skills to summon more hellish minions. I guess you could say this is your necromancy type of class. So those will be the 6 classes that will be in the game on the official launch on March 25th, but we still have something very important to talk about, and that is multiclassing. Like I mentioned before, when you create your character, you choose your primary class, and this gives you a passive class feat, 2 unique action skills, and also a unique skill tree. Later on in the game, players will gain access to the multiclassing system with a new secondary class slot. Once you choose your secondary class, you get access to everything that that class would have given you if you had chosen it in character creation. You do still keep everything from your primary class, but you now have 2 class passives that are active, 4 action skills, and 2 skill trees. Yes, this does mean that you'll have 2 pets if your primary and secondary class are classes with companions. When you level up in this game, you gain skill points, and these are the points that you spend in your skill trees. The more you invest into a given tree, the more you begin to unlock further sections of that tree with stronger effects at your disposal. It's impossible to fill out both your primary and secondary class trees, so this is where players can choose to focus solely on their primary class if that's what they want, or start dipping into their secondary class tree. It will be possible to respec these stat points, but it will cost in-game gold. Regardless of what you do with your stat points, you still get that new class passive and those 2 new action skills. Once you've completed the main story campaign, you'll unlock the option to switch your secondary class. However, your primary class was a permanent decision. So from the way it sounds, and after doing even more research, it seems like you have to choose a secondary class, but you don't have to invest into the skill tree of that secondary class. But you can't do something like double down on your primary class and get more primary class abilities. At least that's the way that I'm understanding it as of right now. If you guys have any other information on that, definitely let me know. Also, let me know what you think about this multi-classing system. I think it's quite interesting. Hopefully it turns out good, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.